I mean, one thing economists need to do is be honest about their standard errors. If you look at the survey of professional forecasters in May of 2021, they said there was less than a 1% chance that inflation would exceed 4%. And it ended up way above 5%. So I think you do need to acknowledge there's a huge amount of uncertainty right now. When we talk about policy, we can talk about, you have to think, what if I'm wrong in this direction? How bad are the consequences of that? What if I'm wrong in that direction? How bad are the consequences? Weighing them. You don't just want to make policy based on your central best guess. In terms of a central best guess, the equation economists use to organize their thinking is that inflation is a function of three things. One is sometimes called expectations, but you should think of that just as the internal dynamics of inflation, that wages lead to prices, prices lead to wages. If you think everyone else is going to raise prices, you're going to raise your prices, et cetera. It's sort of the self-fulfilling thing is one term. The second term is how tight the economy is, how much demand there is, often simplified by how low the unemployment rate is. And the third term is what supply shocks are like. Let's take those in reverse order. On the supply shocks, right now, those seem to basically be zero. In fact, if anything, there might be a little bit favorable. Inflation is temporarily a little bit lower because energy prices have been falling. And so I don't expect much action on the supply side, other than unpredictable things, war in the Middle East, whatever. You'll have something on the supply side. Then there's that demand term, labor market tightness term. And there we see the unemployment rate quite low. Job openings have come down, but are still higher than any time they were before the pandemic. And so the labor market on balance looks as or more tight than it was in 2019. And so that suggests some continued upward pressure. And then finally, there's that self-sustaining dynamic. And that's the hardest one to understand because it's based on perceptions, the policy regime, and the like. Historically, inflation went back to too quickly. Now it looks like there's more momentum built into it that could keep it away from there for a while.